Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, SchwartzFiat here, and normally I don't do vlogs, but there's something I really want to talk about, and it's with regards to the independent game reviewers, the people that post game reviews, as well as Let's Play footage and all that kind of thing. We're talking about the big ones, the big independent ones, things like The Angry Joe Show, Total Biscuit, The Cynical Brit, and that kind of stuff. And I find it interesting that as of late, these kind of people seem to be coming under attack. Maybe it's been happening longer than I realized, but what really got me thinking was with the recent top 10 games of 2013 published by both Total Biscuit and The Angry Joe Show. And what I noticed was with both of these videos, they seemed to start out trying to make it very clear that this was their opinion and that there were other games that are good, and just because a game's not on this list doesn't mean it sucked, yada yada yada. I mean, and my first thought was like, really? But I can kind of understand why they're doing this, or actually I can, because as of late, people seem, or maybe it's been happening more farther back than as of late, but people seem to be just getting stupider and stupider about what they're trying to do, and it's sort of kind of like a biting the hand that feeds you kind of thing, because you have people like, Angry Joe, Total Biscuit, that basically dedicate their professional lives to saving us, the video gamer, time and money. And last time I checked, someone trying to save you time and money was a good thing, especially when they're not charging you a thing for it. And so that's basically what you have. These people try to let us know about good games, showing videos of them, and that kind of thing. Yet somehow, for some reason, many players choose to attack them and just be outright hateful. And the reason for this is just stupid. It's because that person talked about a game and said an opinion that somebody didn't like. Really. And this brings up some very interesting questions. First of all, why are you being mean to someone that, well, is just trying to help and is doing great things for the gaming community? I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me. Because I personally have made some of my game purchasing decisions based on some of these reviews and first impressions videos. One thing in particular was, like for example, I decided that I would not be buying Guild Wars 2 as a result of watching the Angry Joe Show's review on Guild Wars 2. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I decided that I would play or buy and play Endless Space based on Total Biscuit's WTF is Endless Space video. I mean, he talked about it, he clearly showed what the game was about and explained it as well, not only with commentary but with visual feedback. So I thought that was great, so I bought the game and I ended up liking it. Yet the thing is, people continue, if a reviewer reviews a game or does a first impressions of it and doesn't like it, generally speaking, you tend to get people that just get so defensive. And what really gets me thinking is there's a big question as to why. And when you think about it, it really doesn't make sense. Not so much they're getting so angry about a negative opinion, but the question is, and when you think about it, let's say you really, really love a game. Why are you still looking for opinions of that game? Why does it matter? I mean, for example, currently I'm playing Freelancer. I have no intentions of looking to see online for reviews of this game. I have no intentions of looking to see if anybody quit playing it for any particular reason or if anybody has problems with it, because I've already formed my opinion of it. And were it not bugged right now, I would be enjoying it much better. Okay, this is probably a mod issue and whatever. Anyways, when it's working, it's great. First time I've seen that, but guess I won't be doing missions today. Oh well. Too bad, so sad. Anyways, so basically I've already formed my opinion about it, and so the thing is, why do I need to watch reviews or go somewhere else about it. It's the same with true with a lot of other games that I love, like X3 Terran Conflict. You know, I mean, I could just go through naming names, but the point is, if you already own a game, if you already like it, why are you spending your time looking for reviews? Because reviews, let's play, these kind of stuff can generally be for people who have not played the game, who do not own it. Now, there are some exceptions, like gameplay footage that explains and guides, like how to do it and things like that. For example, I might watch freelancer how-to videos, but I haven't done it recently since I have kind of been playing the game for going on 11 years now. So I pretty much know all there is to know. But that aside, guides aside, generally speaking, these kind of videos are for people who do not own it and are curious about it. So that's my first question, is why are people who love the game insistent on coming to these platforms of media and these reviews, these first impressions videos, and just criticizing it if that game reviewer dares to say that the game is bad? Now, there's been arguably many answers to this. One is like for multiplayer games. If people want a lot of people in their multiplayer games, and if they find out that someone's saying the game's bad, well, that just might lower the numbers of people in the game. And so they think somehow the better option is to just violently attack people who disagree with them, which is just really, really stupid, because when you think about it, I mean, look at it logically. Um, going back to this game Freelancer, for example. Currently, because the game will be 11 years old next month, it's been out for a while, and so it's nowhere near its heyday. And basically what that means is there's currently only one really active server. If you want to be able to play with more than 5 people at a time, this is the server you need to be on. Even then, though, like it says right there, about 110 other players with me. So basically, you're pretty much going to have to play on this server if you want to play the game as is and want to have other people to join you. The thing is, this is a roleplay server and roleplay enforced. So if you are going out of character and saying things like typical gamers say, like, oh yeah, pwned you, that kind of stuff, then you will probably be banned from this server. Some people don't like that. And so if someone were to theoretically make a video review of Freelancer in its current state and talk about how the game pretty much only has one active server and that server is roleplay enforced, so if you're thinking about trying to get into Freelancer now but you don't like the idea of forced roleplay, then stay away. I personally don't see a problem with that because A, it's obviously very true, and two, and then if some people started commenting, well, that's stupid, I'm definitely not going to play that, yada, yada, yada. You know what? To me, that's a good thing. And I'll explain why. Because, and this is why that argument of trying to get more people, they don't want people to be scared away. When you think about it logically, if you are in a multiplayer game, yes, you may want people to play it, but you want people to play who want to play. If someone come in here not knowing what they were getting into, they'd probably be annoyed and quit right quick. And did I seriously just enter the wrong star system? Crap. Okay, flying while talking is not working very well. Ay, 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 ay. Anyways. Wait, is there a, what is this? Oh well, we'll explore it anyways. So basically the point is, I wouldn't want people in a game that really don't want to be there. And generally speaking, people have their own opinions about various game aspects. And that's one of the things that people need to understand. There are many different types of games and subsequently gamers. Different people like different things. Yet people who try to attack these game reviewers or anybody who criticizes a game just can't seem to understand one simple concept, among others, and that is everybody has their own opinions, game reviewers too. So there's many game reviewers that may not like the type of games that I like. But that's okay, because different people like different things, and some people seem to have this stupid idea that if someone doesn't like a certain concept that you may think is good in a game, they somehow think they're wrong and they fail to understand that many people have differences. For example, if you were to give me a game and tell me that I could reach max level in that game and or complete the game in general, so yeah, either reach max level if it's a leveling up game or complete the story and do any of those two things or both in under 500 hours, I probably would not be interested in the game. I just don't see the point in playing a game that can be done and over with in only 500 or so hours. Now, you may say that's crazy. I like my games to be open-ended and take forever. So the only strategy games that, while, for example, a lot of people thought Age of Empires series was good, I thought it was ridiculous because, oh wow, you build up, you play for an hour or so, game over, restart. Ah. Whereas I didn't really enjoy Age of Empires at all. But Space Empires 4, Space Empires 5, Galactic Civilizations 1, Galactic Civilizations 2, all its expansions, Endless Space, and a couple other 4X strategy games, Master of Orion 2, all those games I thought were just amazing because they lasted for hours, days, and some games even took weeks. And when you play for several hours a day, and then after several weeks or even months of play, you finally conquer the entire galaxy, because I love playing on gigantic maps, that was fun to me. I didn't like those games that are over within a couple hours, but some people do. So, because of that, that doesn't mean Age of Empires is a bad game. Or, and arguably, many people think that Age of Empires, Age of Kings, was a really good game, in fact. And if that's the case, then so be it. Because, if you looked at it from a perspective of a game that doesn't take too long to play, you build up, there's none of this long-term stuff like 4X strategy games have, it may be good in its own right. And that's what people need to understand. Different games are good in different areas. Yet somehow people continue to think that if someone criticizes it in a certain area, it's suddenly so wrong. And this happens a lot with game reviewers, because again, game reviewers are people like us and they have their own opinions. So, like, I have the opinion that if a game can be completed in under 500 hours, it's not worth my time. Some other game reviewers may be of a different opinion. I think it'd be safe to say that Total Biscuit is very much of a different opinion, because he said himself that he likes to play a game, finish it, then go on to a next. I like to play a game and have it never end so that I can just keep playing and have fun with it. I don't like to go from game to game to game, complete one game, and go on like that. But some people do. So, obviously, maybe he would speak negatively, theoretically, of a game that takes too long, and then someone else might complain about that. Here is the fundamental thing that people need to understand. Aside from everyone having their different opinions of games, the whole notion, okay, so I'm not the only one having that problem. Anyway, so, alright, I lost my train of thought because of that message. Anyway, so everybody has their own different opinions as to what makes a game good or not. And generally speaking, because a lot of these are based on personal preference and not whether or not an aspect is actually bad or not, people need to learn to take a look at these with a grain of salt, even when they come from reviewers. And to give you a fine example of what I'm talking about, as I said at the beginning, my opinion and choice not to buy Guild Wars 2 came from watching the Angry Joe Show's review of it. Now, for those of you who have seen that review, he gave the game a 10 out of 10. And so you may be wondering, how is it that a review that gave a game 10 out of 10 helped me make the choice to not buy it? And some of you may have been thinking that I messed up in what I said. I did not. His 10 out of 10 score given to Guild Wars 2 in his half hour or so video praising it is what made me decide I'm never going to buy that game. Here's why. Because I looked at a review like everyone else should, and that is, I pretty much tuned out what he was saying, or at least his opinion part of it. I basically heard what he was saying when he was stating the facts, but when he started talking about what he thought was good and all that, I pretty much tuned it out, and then began to form my own opinions based on what I was seeing and what he was stating, which is fact. For example, he stated, and as a fact, that there is no subscription fee. Now, and then he went on to his opinion to express how he thought that was awesome. Now, I just ignored his opinion of it pretty much and just focused on the fact that he said there's no subscription fee. To me, I think that's just an awful way to have an MMO, because games have to financially support themselves somehow. I would rather pay a subscription fee than have a game think that they can make it so that they have a cash shop that sells items that affect gameplay and increase experience gained for people with more money. I'd be more than happy to pay $15 a month for a game if I knew the developers were thinking, okay, this game's making us 15 a month from all these players. We don't need to have to sell things like experience boost to give players with more money an advantage over players with less money. See, that's good. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. He stated a fact, I listened to that fact, and then when he stated his opinion about how he thought that was awesome, I disagreed and went on. And then, for another example, he was talking about, apparently in Guild Wars 2 you have the ability to switch weapons on the fly, which is great, but then you have different skills associated with each different weapon. I personally was like, and he thought that was just the awesomest thing ever, and if that's his opinion, then great. I took that to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. You mean that if, or let's say theoretically, I get used to one set of skills and then I find a weapon with better stats, am I going to have to get used to another whole set of skills? No, that just, no, 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 no. I want a game where the skills that I have are based on the class and or race that I'm playing. I don't want to have to deal with changing skills all the time and yada, yada, yada. Because I really don't like, give me a couple skills that are useful. I pretty much stick with them. If I've been playing an MMO for a while and I try to move around my hotbar, it just messes me up so bad. So generally, if I got a lot of skills I like, even if I get a new skill, if it doesn't fit on the hotbar, I'll generally just ignore it. But that's just the way I play. So you see, that's what I'm talking about. People need to look at game reviews that people post, listen to the facts, and kind of basically ignore when the game reviewer puts their own bias into it. And when you're able to do that, and don't tell me this is that one system. Shoot. Nav map not available. Oh well, anyways. And then, like I say, ignore. Oh, come on. They're shutting down now. Better get back to base. Here. Come on, get in the jump gate. So yeah, basically, no, come on, get in there, get in there, get in there. Whew. Stupid nomads. All right. Anyways, what was my train of thought? Okay, yeah. So basically, just ignore their opinions and just listen to their facts. And then base whether or not you like or dislike that video based on how well. No server shut down. I'm not at the base yet. I'm not at the base. Anyway, so base your opinion on whether or not you like or dislike the video based on how well they presented it. So looking back, I would probably rate, yep, server shutting down. Woo woo. Okay, now I can stop worried about playing. Alright, so I would probably rate even some negative or positive reviews for games that I didn't like. Like, for example, looking back, I would probably rate that Angry Joe Show's review of Guild Wars 2 as positive, because that's the point of these reviews. They're to provide you the information you need to make your decision. And if they gave you enough information to do that, then they deserve a like and maybe even a subscribe. Just because they agree with you or disagree with you or have an opinion different to yours, that should not affect your support for these game reviewers. Because again, if they provide you the information you need, then they've done their job. And if more and more people can do that, it would be a lot better. And it's vital that people learn to be that respectful and just take someone else's opinion for what it is, their opinion, and just look at the facts. And here's why: because we need these independent game reviewers for a number of reasons. Number one, generally speaking, these people are gamers like us. They're not paid by the major corporations. They're pretty much, in effect, paid by us. And if you don't realize how the business works, a basic summary is simply this. Someone like Angry Joe or Total Biscuit creates a video. They put it up on YouTube. It's monetized. So you have to watch a couple second ad or maybe a minute or 30 seconds to a minute ad. And then you watch your video, you hear their opinions, hear them talk about the game. Now, the people who put up the ad then give a portion of the... In order to do that, they'll put ads up, but then the money from the ads goes to the person who uploaded the video. This is a win-win for everyone. The reviewers are able to make money and in what they're doing, so that then gives them the opportunity to do what many of them do, and that is they make this their actual profession, because people can, if successful, can actually make enough money to have this be their entire professional life. What this means is they don't have to worry about getting another actual job because they can make enough money on YouTube. And it also gives them the money they need to go out and buy and afford to buy all these games that you may be curious about but don't want to spend your money on unless you know it's good. And again, it's all free to you, paid for by the ads. And you don't even have to... I mean, you could just completely ignore the ads, but simply because the ads are there, the ad companies that put them up have to pay for them. And that's how it works. So you benefit by having free information about games. They benefit by having it be profitable for them. So it's a win-win. So not only should these people be supported because it's free, and you may say, well, some of the other stuff is free too. But here's the thing. A lot of the bigger name review companies like GameSpot, you can't convince me that they actually care. Let me just, I could give a couple other case in points, with regards to them actually presenting things that aren't true in games, and not in terms of opinion, but stating things as fact when they're not. I'm not going to get into that right now because I don't want that flame war. But basically, take the Diablo 3 review of GameSpot. Now, they talked briefly about the DRM, but in their minds, they just glazed over it like, oh, it's not a big deal. And whereas the independent game review community, you look at reviews for Diablo 3 when it came out, the independent reviewers, they absolutely criticized that, and rightly so. And this is one of the big points I'm making. These independent game reviewers bring attention not only to the quality of the game, but attention to horrible business practices and things that we need to be aware of. And not only do they bring attention to it, but many of these gaming reviewers fight on our behalf and theirs too to put an end to some of these practices. And so this is why you've got Angry Joe Show at the time of making this video talking about, shoot, give me power, talking about going to fight these copyright claims and how they're denying the reviewers profit because a couple seconds of their 30-some minute review may contain what companies claim is copyrighted footage, and as a result, that company gets 100% of the revenue from the ads, thus hurting the reviewer financially. Not only that, we are probably all familiar with the Day One Gary's incident, where Total Biscuit posted a video of first impressions of Day One Gary's incident, and was not pleased with it all and expressed his disapproval, and that video got a lot of views and no doubt made many people say, wait, this game is just terrible, I'm not buying it. When the developer saw that, they put a copyright strike against Total Biscuit's account and claimed that Total Biscuit had no right to use their copyrighted material in a monetized video. Now, here's the thing, because so many people supported Total Biscuit, he became of the opinion that they're not going to get away with this. A company that's going to give him permission because they gave him permission to make a video and then say, oh no, he didn't have permission. You know, Total Biscuit probably looked at his following, and he's got a lot of support, you know, not only financially, but he's got, I think, 1.5 million subscribers, you know, so he's got a lot of people who are listening and can make his voice heard, and he did just that. And as I understand it, as a result of his actions, the company not only was the copyright strike removed, but he brought big attention to what the company had tried to pull, and they have now suffered a major PR backlash because he got so many people rally to his cause to support him and stand up against this violation of gamers' rights. And good for him. And that's what these kind of people are doing. They're not just giving us reviews of games, because like I say, so many other big companies do that, GameSpot, Game Informer, but these independent ones are actively fighting for gamers' rights, the rights for freedom of speech, and so many other issues. And when you think about all they're doing for gaming communities and the gaming community as a whole, and all that good that they're doing, and the fact that they're providing a service to us, the fact that they're thinking that, you know, us wasting time or money on games that could be bad isn't a good thing. So they're going to dedicate their lives to making us informed. And yet, despite that, we have people that think that just because their opinion of what makes a good game is different than ours, they should somehow, I mean, they just say such very, very hateful things and just get downright spiteful and mean and just love to create arguments with them, and it's just utterly, utterly ridiculous. And so the question is, now a lot of us may not get into that. I mean, there's probably no shortage of people that have heard a reviewer talk about a game, state a fact, and then state their opinion of that, and we may have all had different opinions of it. But still, we liked the review, we felt it was good information, and there we go. And that's what we want. Wait, no. Stop the autopilot. You die. Okay, anyways. Go down, boy, go down. Fire missile. And so anyways, as I was saying, they provided us a good service, and I probably shouldn't fight and try to talk about this at the same time. Ugh. So anyways, I think I've made that pretty clear. That basically they're fighting for us, they're fighting to give us good information, and again, don't focus so much on their opinions, but the information that they provide. Again, if a game video review gave you the information you needed that made your decision as to whether or not you're going to buy that game or not, then that video has done its job and I feel deserves a like. But the next issue is how exactly you deal with... Is this what I think it is? Oh no, the bad ones. How exactly you deal with the so-called trolls and that kind of stuff who, you know, just bash it, or just the stupid ones that actually think that any opinion contrary to theirs is the wrong one, and they don't understand that people just have general differences. How do you respond to that? You ever heard the expression, don't feed the trolls? Well, that's a very good one, and one of the things is, particularly with YouTube's new comment system, that basically makes it so that, or you need to understand the way the comment system works, as I understand it at least, is that once a comment is posted, you know, it used to be it became a top comment if people upvoted it, but as I think Bogey, I forget what the other names are, letters are in his YouTube name, the guy that does Francis and all those other characters. One of the things I missed. He was talking about is it's now voted up to top if it's actually based on how many people responded to this. And if things like this are true, then it's another incentive to not respond to these people, because these just jerks that don't have any idea what they're talking about and are self-centered buttholes, they come and think that their opinion is the only one that matters, and then if people just start comment back to them, again, it's like the idea of feeding the trolls, basically. And then they'll start thinking that their opinion actually matters, yada yada yada, and then their comments, the hateful ones, are what get voted up to the top. I believe one of Boogie's comments was, as a result of this, the comments about how apparently he's fat, all that other stuff, he says they were the ones that are getting up to the top, as opposed to other nicer comments about his actual videos, because people would see that, they'd get insulted. Or one of the big ones, I think, is when he plays as Francis, and Francis, of course, is a character, so all those rages is all an act. As Total Biscuit said, anyone with a brain realizes that. But, people who are stupid, they get their comments moved up to the top, because that's what people respond to. So again, when you see this kind of stuff, just don't feed the trolls. It's pretty much that simple. And I know it's natural to want to just tell them to shut up, but, it's like when people are this arrogant to think that if someone has an opinion contrary to theirs, they're too arrogant to accept anything different, no matter what you may say in your comment. They're too arrogant to be told that they need to shut up. And a lot of them maybe are just doing it for attention. So basically what I'm saying, some of this, the responsibility falls upon those of us who are nice and not immature jerks. But it's not just so much a responsibility of ours to not feed the trolls who insult our beloved game reviewers who take the time to do all this to make our gaming experiences much better, but we kind of need to take it upon ourselves to let them know that they're appreciated. I mean, I have actually contacted some game reviewers saying that I appreciated them being honest about their games and things like that. Now, granted, they never replied, but I have a feeling that even though if they never reply, they probably like the comment or things like that. Because some of these big people, or big name independent reviewers, don't necessarily have time to respond to all the comments and stuff that they get. But from what I hear from a lot of them, they are in fact reading them. And so basically what I'm saying is, if we really want to encourage our game reviewers to come up and keep doing what they're doing, then we need to actually take the time, to leave them comments. And if not comments, feel free to just like, subscribe. I know you hear that all the time. But it really does help them, because as they see their subscriber numbers that go up, that'll be an incentive to them. Hey, people like the way I'm doing things, and people like what I'm taking the time to do. Great, that's awesome. And then if they see all the likes, that's great. And comments, friendly comments, that's nice. It'd be great if all the friendly, encouraging comments outnumbered the comments of the jerks. That'd be awesome. Because at the end of the day, the main thing is simple. We need these people because they fight for our rights as gamers. They fight for good gaming in general. And they do it mainly because they really, really love gaming. Whereas some of these other big game reviewers, they're just people that they don't necessarily love gaming. They love profit. And I don't know about you, but if I'm going to have someone telling me about a game, I want an independent reviewer who's passionate about it. Not some paid person working for a big game company that is told, okay, you have to review this title. And you see, that's one of the annoying things about the bigger game companies and review companies. They're basically assigned titles that they have to review, whereas these independent reviewers pick any random game they want, because most of them, and smartly so, don't take requests. I mean, you can take a look at Total Biscuit's video as to why he doesn't take requests if you don't understand the whole intelligence behind not taking requests. But, and basically they become more passionate about the reviews they do. And that passion and that enthusiasm transfers over to great game reviews and is what I personally would love to see continue. So, I guess basically to sum it up, we need these people, and I would like to see that, people who review games and people who post first impressions, I'd like to see all that stuff continue and not go away, but people tend to get discouraged if they hear these negative comments. Now, most people can just basically ignore, or, basically can just ignore some of these idiots, but for some people it becomes harder, especially the smaller channels. So, my challenge is to everyone is, first of all, to the idiots, even though I know they won't be able to do it, is just shut up and realize that just because someone has an opinion of a game or a different aspect of gaming that's contrary to what you may like, it's not the end of the world, and it doesn't really matter that much. And to those of us who like and enjoy our independent game reviewers, despite whether or not they have opinions that may be contrary to ours, we need to continue to encourage them. So, like I say, I mean, it's just pretty simple. Send them comments, appreciation, like, subscribe to some of the bigger channels, or even some of the smaller ones. I'm getting to the point where if I see someone doing a review of a game and it's presented well, I'm just going to go ahead and subscribe to them. Because, hey, as well as giving them a like, because that's what I want to see. And you got to keep in mind, we need more and more of that, because information is everything, and games are becoming more and more complex and therefore subsequently more expensive. I like the fact that with most games now, you can type in the game on YouTube in the search and then type in the word review, and you'll be met with maybe 5 or 6 reviews, maybe more depending upon the game, from completely different people who are independent game reviewers because they love the gaming and they want to provide information about a game that they think is good or bad. This will expose you to so much more opinions about a game from people who care about gaming in general. And with all these different opinions, you are able to very well form your own opinion of whether or not you're going to buy this game or not. And that's really one of the great things about the internet, and I really hope it doesn't go away, but I do hope all the idiots, buttholes, and trolls, they do need to go away, because just because someone doesn't like your game doesn't mean you need to cry about it. I mean, come on. You ought to grow a pair or something, take up gardening or something like that. Yeah, okay, that's a lame joke. But anyways, point is, it's pathetic. So, but again, it's not all the responsibility to keep these good gaming channels up isn't so much on the hope that the idiots just shut up, but that those of us who aren't idiots encourage this kind of activity, whether or not I mean, even if you like, let's say for example, you don't like a particular, or someone said something you don't like, if they still, like I say, provided information to you that affected your decision as to whether or not you're going to buy that game, then they deserve a like and a good compliment. Oh, you trying to get away from me, boy? Hope you like your cruise engines being disrupted. Aw. Hey, you die too. Okay, anyway, so like I say, the point is, there's a responsibility on all of us if we want to have this kind of stuff continue, because I certainly do. But anyways, that's pretty much all I needed to say. Hopefully that gave you guys something to think about. Hope you found it helpful and useful, and like I say, seriously think about this, because if it goes back to only being big name companies reviewing our games, yeah, it's just gonna suck, because that's not what we need. We need people who are passionate about it, and we need to know that we appreciate and respect all they do. So, I guess the basic thing of what I'm saying is show some love to your game reviewers. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a good day. Cheers.